Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Douglas from Earth Heroes TV, and we have a very important special update. I've got a gentleman to share the foundation for the new Earth. This is really, really important. Stay tuned for this video because he's going to lay out the process of humanity to be able to create systems of design to move forward into the world with a little bit more ease and grace based upon this beautiful symmetrical design system that is a part of nature. He's in the backstage right now, and before I introduce him, I just want to let you know that he's his life work has been in writing curriculums. He's a systems theorist and a designer, and he's been working with these designs for a long time now, and he has created this design system that is a part of nature that can be implemented and laid over any process to enable us to recognize how we can plug in to the system that we need in the future. So Christo, here he is. I want to introduce him. Thank you so much. He's coming all the way in from South Africa right now, so it's an absolute pleasure we were able to get the time to communicate. I wanted to thank you for reaching out because you reached out to me on Instagram, and I really feel that what you have to share today is going to be profound little bit of information, wisdom that we can integrate into our lives in order to create this new Earth paradigm that we're seeking to lay out. So thanks for joining me, Christo. Yeah.
Thank you, Shay. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been following your work since, aren't we all blessed, since the beginning of lockdown, because that's just how the globe went. And I actually don't like the word system, just between you and me. System is more concrete, and it's usually tried and tested processes that have become norm, tradition, and these actually stop things like spirit from moving. Because the thing is, everyone always drops back into bureaucracy of where we've been or where we come from. So yeah, coming from curriculum, I've actually looked at numerous systems, and there are a couple of fundamentals that are missing. But yeah, let's get going with a slideshow, and I'll touch base. Hang on.
Well, I really like what you shared a moment ago, particularly looking at the current systems that are in place that have got us to this point, and just acknowledging on many different industries, the systems seem to be a little bit outdated, let's say, and not necessarily serving, the evolutionary progression of the spirit of what we're moving into. And yes. I really feel that's a really significant piece to explore, particularly as you mentioned in the economic model or the economic system, the health system, and also the education system. These are like the primary fundamental systems of our planet right now, in our Western cultures, that don't necessarily seem to be supporting all of humanity. And the simple, obvious example of that is, we have some people in countries that are extremely prosperous and vital and abundant. And then there's the majority of the world who are still living in relatively extreme levels of poverty. And so we can acknowledge that the world is out of balance, let's say. And this, what you're going to present today is a potential of bringing back in a little bit more harmonic kind of resonance, in the sense that it allows us to tap into an integrated state of being. Is that right?
Yes, I like the word harmonic, because harmony is usually a vertical chord structure. But if we add the melodic to it, then it becomes chord progression. And yeah, that's a very clever metaphor that you actually touched on there. But yeah, let's begin. Let's see if we can find some balance for 7.8 billion people. Okay, so yeah, diamonds cut diamonds. Now it was from the beginning. Okay, the diamond was designed first time much more rudimentary than where it is now. On the 19th of April 2002, it basically carried me through my honors and my masters, and then into curriculum writing. And I started a little training company, and but basically, yeah, and then life just changed and things happened, and then I went into curriculum primarily only. And the diamond is the cornerstone to, I think, 150 curriculums that I've designed. And I've looked at numerous other systems, and everything can fit into this little basic picture. And we'll get there. And it actually excites me to such a degree that most people look at me and say, yeah, okay, you're losing the plot. Okay. Next slide. Aha. Okay. I love this quote. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. It's phenomenal. So the thing is, since January 2020, all our systems have gone under strain, under pressure. Those that survive, they're diamonds. Every single beginning of last year, I heard everybody talking about we've changed from a carbon state as humans to a crystalline state, and then I realized, hang on, I better start working on my diamond again, because for me, it's so part of how I think, how I do, that I didn't realize that other people aren't. That people have, we as a humanity have actually evolved now through serious hardship, and everybody's taken strain. Everybody's had to look for new business. Everybody's had to look for new sales opportunities. Everybody had to go online for meetings. Our environment, our context, our whole way of doing stuff was suddenly no more hunky dory, and so I offer this as a process model of how we can get the job done, how we can get there. Okay, this is the existing reality. Generally, everything starts with a goal. I want a cup of coffee, and then you make a plan, and then you go and you do it. You make a cup of coffee, and then you'll evaluate it by taking a sip, and then there'll be a feedback loop, which is usually I want to add milk or sugar or cream, or how about a biscuit with my coffee? And that's the existing reality. And that's everything from making a cup of coffee, building a dam, planting a field, flat ironing your hair. The truckers in Canada ran the system, or at least this model. They had a goal. We've got to get rid of the mandates, and then they made a plan, and somehow that plan blew itself up because 70,000 guys pulled together and actually came out from deep within, I believe, to get that many guys to cross a continent in sub-zero temperatures. And now there'll be a feedback loop. Mm-hmm. It's just something that happened, and everything is something that happens. The fact that we're talking right now is we went through this exact process. I had a goal. Actually, you said something or posted an advert, and then I sent you a picture, and then you said, hey, tell me more, and voila, we get here. Move it on. Let's change the system up. Okay, nothing in life is linear. That is the biggest illusion that they ever taught us, that we're trapped within time and everything runs subject, verb, predicate. That's how we speak in linear time. Back at the ranch, it's actually everything's in process. And I like Joe Dispenza's description here. He actually speaks not time, space, but space, time. We are ever present, ever here, ever sovereign, ever human, having a spiritual experience in a 3D reality. And this process model as we get it now, I believe it can be a bridge for everybody who's coming along, who are awakening now to the new earth, to hang on, there's something wrong with the system. We can actually use this as I like to think of it as a cornerstone, the way we think, how we think. Not what we think. There's enough what. If you want what, go to Google and type in anything you want. You can find out how to pull a flywheel off a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower on YouTube with a video to show you. Only video they don't have is how to replace the cooling or oil cooler on a W202 turbo diesel Mercedes-Benz. Okay, that one I never found. I can make the video though, but I had problems. Okay, so the process.
I love this process, Christo, particularly that it's a closed loop system. You know, in all natural systems, they're always closed loop. There's no like starting and ending. It's an infinite process that it simply just transforms and loops back in. So I love this model that you're presenting to us, is this concept that everything is interconnected and it's always ever present, and it's a closed loop, which is phenomenal.
That's slide 33. And then you gotta just go, because that's what I did when I saw it for the first time. And I only saw it for the first time about 6 months ago. So this the beauty about the diamond as it is it never stops revealing secrets. So whatever you're doing, you're gonna have to start with a task. Okay, you go to the doctor, you tell him, hey, I got these symptoms, and he basically reflects, thinks about all these lessons, and he says, okay, fine, this is what the book says. Okay, we can either go natural or we can go chemical. Pick one. Which one are you going to be more natural with, more comfortable with? And then, okay, now we're going to flick fast. Okay, next one. The task takes you to a plan. Now, for a cup of coffee, that's our task. And in the plan, you'll always ask who, what, where, when, why, and how. Next up. Okay. And from who, what, where, when, why, and how, that can be anything from building a dam, planting a field. What HR do you need? Human resources. What physical, tangible stuff do you need? Do you need cement? Do you need bricks, mortar, a plow, whatever? And it can be anything from regenerative farming through to, I don't know, I'd say cures for cancer. There are natural cures. There are lifestyle changes. Everything can be found. It's not the what, it's how you're going to be getting to those answers that you're looking for. Okay, next up, as opposed to our previous linear model, which was plan and then do, we actually have to get the stuff. So you have to go and get your HR, because there are specialists in fields, and you need to get your resources. You need to go and actually source your cement, you got to source your bricks, you got to source your reinforcements. For like, let's say the truckers, their task was put up a protest. Their plan was, okay, we're going to go in here and we're going to get to Ottawa there, a cross-country little track. Then they developed and they made sure they had the resources for their fuel, their trucks were good, the antifreeze was in. Sorry, I don't come from a cold climate, so I have no clue actually what they had to develop, but they've done this before, and that's based on previous lessons. Okay, and then guess what happened next? They went and did it. And now every day we are busy with a continuous assessment of, have they made progress towards their final goal? Every day we had reports on how they traveled across. Now, likewise for your day, you've already done this 4 times. For you, Shay, you've said to me previously in the backstage that you've done a couple of lives already today. Guess what? You've done all this numerous times. Right now you're sitting there thinking, okay, what's the next question? Okay, is the film running? Okay, and then afterwards we assess. Now, assessment's lacquer because it actually happens while you're doing stuff. It's called, in education, we call it formative assessment. How are you forming the learner? Okay, and then afterwards would be a summative assessment. Now, every one of us, when you get home from work, your partner, wife will ask you, how was your day? And there you just say, and note it's how was your day? So how was your process up to this point? And you'll say good, bad, or ugly. And then comes a great reflection. And the reflection will be why? Why was it good? Why was it bad? Why was it ugly? Why did you have a great day? Why was it fantastic? And from that, you'll learn lessons. And this will cut your character. And that's the whole process cycle. And it's applicable everywhere. Click the last one, please. Thank you. And that's the essence of who we are. And at character, I'll always say, you've got to actually develop your character in that you have to focus on what is honorable, what is good, what's your faith, what is your hope in your friends, what is your love level, what's your self-love level. And then from your character, the task will ignite and be inspired, and voila, that's everything. And literally, when I say this is a process for everything, if something doesn't get done, you're not following process, or you've made a mistake somewhere, or you've left something out. Literally, that's it. Speak to me, Shay. What's your major breakthrough on? Oh, okay, sweet. Okay, so we want to move on. All right, so this is where they pulled the wool over our eyes. The world has always taught us this lovely thing called triangulation gives you a point. Now, I wrote a course in sustainable agriculture a couple of weeks ago, and they put this down as in the source material. Anything that's sustainable, you've got to look at the economics of it, the social of it, and the environment. There's an aspect missing in that. Where is good manufacturing practices, good agricultural practices, good health practices? All these are legal statutes according to ISO and quality assurance, but somehow it's not in the picture. And it just didn't work with me. And I stared at the picture, then I went back and I said, no, but it doesn't fit into the diamond either. And then I got really cross saying, hang on, you can't leave out the basic general rules of looking after food safety. And you can't leave out rules like hazard analysis and critical control points, because that's not there. And it's actually funny. A friend of mine, he's an architect, and I showed him this. I said, what's missing in this? And he said, where's the building regulations? I said, yeah, it costs you money if you don't build according to the regulations. He says, yeah, imagine building 50 houses and there's one thing wrong with a concrete mix. Concrete mix, we know how to mix concrete, but there's different mixes for different applications. He says, yeah, that stuff's like set down in stone. This is all kind of ironic. But for him as a builder, he looked at it and said, but where's the law? There's politics. Okay, flick at it, because now it gets fun. When you look at society looks like this. There's always politics. There's always a legal basis for it. And that'll affect your economics, and that'll affect your physical environment, and that'll affect the social aspect. The fact that we talk is actually quite cool, because we both come from a colonial background, because we both come from colonies. I'll bet you $50 that your educational system and my educational system were similar. Why? Because they both were based on the British system, because Australia was a colony, which is similar to the New Zealand educational system, the South African system, the Canadian system. Where else were the British? The Indian system, the Zimbabwe system. It was all based on an educational foundation of the British Empire, which is, it's long and it's endearing, but we've got to figure out it's not right, because our world has changed. Look, the education system, don't get me started. Curriculum was designed in 1800 or around about there for one purpose: to get guys to be very good in the supply chain. They had to read the manual so they could do something in the production chain. That was it. And we basically put our kids through the education system for 12 years with just that in mind. Load them full of what? Information. So when they get to the end of school, you ask them, what can you do? And the kid looks at you and says, I can put words together and maybe formulate an essay. It's not a good essay, but it is an essay. All right. Click it. Watch this. This is where it gets fun. Politics in our new earth is our vision, where we're going. Okay, politics traditionally is based on past. If you think about law is based on a good idea or a good vision, and then it becomes traditional, and that becomes past. And then they get all the exceptions to the law through lawyering. The legal aspect makes it exceptions to the rule. And all that happens in court nowadays is they look, is this part of the exception to the rule? Economics is exchange. We're moving away from a monetary system, I believe. Okay, the old systems, too much emphasis is placed on money. But actually money is a representation of energy and time. And this is actually exchange. Right now, we're exchanging time. We're not exchanging money, but we're exchanging ideas. And that's actually the economics between you and I, Shay. It's an economics of exchange. The physical environment, well, we all know the environment's changed. We're not all getting in our cars at 6 a.m. to be at the office by 8, to be working ourselves to death by 4, to sit back in traffic for another 2 hours. Our context has moved from, you're sitting in Australia, I'm sitting in South Africa, we're in a cloud. It's the context of the world has changed. We're moving faster. Technology has helped us out. Everything's happening faster. And then the social aspect, society is not stagnant. It's not still. It changes, it evolves, it adapts. It's beautiful. It's literally just summer to winter, your wardrobe's going to change. Everything changes consistently, and change is a collective noun, I think, for lots of little adaptations. And yeah, if you put all the adaptations together, you can say, oh, the world has changed, but actually it's just evolved. It's yeah. When you type out evolve as many times as I have, all I type out is love, and then it's like, hang on, something's wrong with the spelling, and you go spell check, and then you realize it's not electronic love, it's evolve. Yeah, but it's a lovely word, beautiful.
Yeah, okay, I love this presentation, particularly the emphasis on your breakdown on the etymology of the words and the language that is used, the awareness of how, there's always words within words, or the root of words, and actually the true meaning of them, because it's often that, even growing up in this colonized kind of culture in Australia, having the education system, there's no awareness or focus and intention on recognizing the power of meaning of the root cause of the words. Like, for example, as you just mentioned, the evolve and the love, which is in the root of it, and many other examples that you've shared in this presentation. But I just wanted to highlight that emphasis, because there's such power and there's so much to acknowledge in how words are governing our consciousness, particularly as we move forward, and choosing the right language to speak and be able to flesh out on a deeper level to really explore this new model. So it's really, really great, Christo. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Check it out. Check where we go now. Politics as vision. Now watch this. By definition, politics is who we are, our character. This will determine how you define your task, which is directly related to what you will be planning for. But if we have a vision to guide that, your character can set your vision. Your task can set your vision. Your plan can set your vision. Currently, the politics is moving down and setting our character. Politics is changing our character. Politics is determining our task, and politics is about planning. We've got to move from the inner cycle out again. Take back our sovereignty of how do we think, how do we process, how do we do. Not let external, I almost want to say it, governmental institutions force us to have this character. As soon as our character determines the vision, determines the politics, we will move forward. Otherwise, we're going to have to keep going back to words they feed us, things like normal. What was normal in the first place? Because no one ever defined normal. It's like when they started this new normal, I'm like, but what was the old normal? This is my lifestyle. And you actually don't have any say on my normal. My normal day is I wake up, I feed my kids, I make oats. Now, what are you telling me? You're going to be adjusting my normal? Okay, long story. Check out the next one. It's the same scenario. Economic systems have told us how to plan. Someone told me I need to use a rand, told you got to use an Australian dollar, told the Europeans they've got to use a euro. Back at the ranch, if we use exchange, then it's energy. Then that's a base currency is energy. The value of that energy is, I don't know yet. Where we're standing right now, everything's changing. So even the economics is changing, our time is changing, our value towards money is changing, and that will change how we develop, how we buy resources, acquire human resources, physical resources, and that will also change how we do stuff. Because the thing is, we use benchmarks like a monetary system, but we put value on monetary system, whereas the value should actually be at self level. The monetary system must serve you, not you serve the monetary system. It's about moving from the economics moving in to us moving out into the exchange. And you'll see on the next one, which is physical environment, it's the same thing. Currently, we are always hiding behind the excuse that, oh no, the weather's bad and the climate's bad and we can't plant now and we can't do this now. Wayne Dyer says it great. What are you waiting for? But today's a good day. Just get down and get doing. Yeah. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And if we're looking at it from context, we can determine how we're going to meet. You and I could actually have flown and met at some funky place somewhere in the middle of the ocean on a boat. But our context is we can work in a cloud. We decided we're going to do it this way around. And from that, we can assess in our context and we can reflect on context. You can't reflect on something that hasn't happened. And then, social is adaptability. Us reflecting together after the show, us learning lessons on how can we do it better. And that's going to cut our character. The fact that as soon as we had a moment of conversation on Instagram, our characters had already changed. That's how fast diamonds start cutting each other. Characters start affecting each other. And that's how fast evolution really happens, is when cells come together. It's like that whole mycelium network thing of the fungi. I love it because there's communication in a realm totally above us. It's beyond. It's comprehension is still beyond me because we were moving from 3D to 5D, and I'm recommending this as a bridge or a cornerstone to that evolution. We've got a lot of people that we're gonna have to explain to them that they have to forgive themselves, because right now our character in our global system is we've got the new earthers and we want everybody to come with, but they're all like, and it's funny, I spoke to my sister the other day and she decided to get herself an injection, and she's the one saying you and me and you and me, and I'm like, but it's just love, it's family. What you do in your spare time is your responsibility, not mine. I'm not accountable for your decisions. But what I am accountable to myself is to love you. You are my sister. She looked at me, she's like, you and that diamond just, I'm like, don't know. But that's life. But this is where it gets beautiful, because if you flick now, you'll see old systems and new systems. There it is. This is how the interaction of spheres works. And the whole thing comes together. And I believe, because we've given our power away to power, governments, doctors, we've lost our sovereignty, our personal accountability to self. But we can take it back. We saw it in the first 3 weeks of lockdown. David Attenborough did a movie, I think, on the effects of lockdown on the planet. The planet restored itself within 3 weeks. There was smog that disappeared and fish that came back to Venice's canals, and it's just so fast. Healing is quick, and healing happens in us as well. And we must just return back to our natural state, which is realizing that we are beautiful. We're beautiful. Everybody's beautiful, and everybody brings so much to this table, and every diamond is unique. All we have to do is let that light shine. And if we change our terminology, as you'll see going forward, it becomes, oh, hang on. Woo! I got to show you this. Have you ever looked at the yin yang? It actually even sits here, and I always used to fight it slightly, but it's that theory of opposites, that your tasks, okay, day and night, light and dark, black and white, hot, cold. The extremes give us the level in between. But watch this. Your task gives you your assessment criteria. Your planning gives you your reflection criteria. Your true character comes out when you are doing stuff. Now, if you want a good example, and I'll go back to rugby here, because most people can relate in our worlds. Considering, in 2003, South Africa played New Zealand in the quarterfinal at the World Cup. It was phenomenal to watch. On the 40th second, a penalty was awarded to New Zealand, and the whole South African team's shoulders dropped. And I got up and walked away. And the guys I was watching the match with, said, "Where are you going?" I said, "We've lost." And they said, "How do you know that?" I said, "The characters just drop. When shoulders drop, character goes. True character only comes out in implementation. You can practice all you want when you are on the field, in the workplace, driving your car. When you're doing something and the chips are down, that's when you'll see character. The surfer who goes out and goes out and goes out, he's the guy who's going to catch the wave. Not the one who says, "Oh, the water's cold and the water's wet." Get a wetsuit. We can surf. We can play. We can have some fun. And that's what it's about. Okay. Okay, so hang on. Just before we swap. Politics is our past, which is reflecting in our physical environment. Next one. Check us. Socio-Economics. Have you ever looked at it this way? They always say socio-economic development. And I'm always thinking, but do you actually realize that economics is just time and money and economics and exchange? And that's totally opposite to, social acceptability. And that's what it is. If you get your planning, development, and doing right in, let's say, agriculture, then you'll have good quality, socially acceptable food product on the market. Your customers will reflect and say, "Oh, juicy apple," and learn the lesson, say, "Hang on, that supplier, he does great apples." And the character will be, "I love that supplier. I want to support his business. I want to do it again." And that's what socioeconomics actually is about supply and demand, and then anticipating what this market would want, and then the market adapting to fit. So it's all very economic, but that's what the supply chain is. Currently, we've got a major issue globally with empty supply chains. We don't have product getting to market. We've got a great opportunity though for lots of small guys to start shipping. We've got some guys down here who were not in an avocado region. It's kind of funny actually, but these guys phoned all their mates who have avo farms and said, "Hey, look here, we'll drive our little truck around and get orders from people's houses, and then we'll deliver avocados locally, but like kilometers from the fields." Now, it's literally about 1,000 kilometers to ship avocados to where I am. And these guys have a truck now driving avocados down weekly, and they drive in their little baby dinky truck just supplying us with avocados. And everybody orders, all the businesses order, 5 people here, 2 people there, 3 people there. But your market is so close to each other that these guys are actually just jacking up each avocado with $1 or $2, and they're making their buck. And voila, they've looked after the supply chain, and the farmers are happy. Put it this way, the best thing about lockdown in South Africa is we got export fruit for the first time in my life. I've never seen some of the export fruit because it's beautiful, but it's designed for European and American markets. But suddenly we can't export our fruit, so we're trying these oranges, and I'm thinking we actually ship this stuff, but it's good to ship for the farmers because the export market is very lucrative. But because of the quality of these oranges, their shelf life is just phenomenal. Okay, so, but now we're scoring. Okay, so, all right. Pop it up. Let's go. Interaction of spheres. Everything, it's just balancing the spheres. And you'll see our vision gives us our context, and our exchange gives us our evolution. And so the diamond actually starts spinning. And look, my strengths are very much on management, doing. I want to get tired when I work. Whereas my wife, she's much better on let's say things like vision. I need a flower bed here, and maybe it's time to cut the grass again. I'm very good. As soon as I got the instruction, I can go do it. But I'm not very good at saying, okay, well, this is where we're going. We're going to be painting a wall. I'll look at it and say, yeah, that's a very good idea. And then I realize she's already developed the labor or the human resource, moi. And then she actually even says, hey, there's this place around the corner. It's called a hardware store, and you can get paint there and brushes. And then now you've got paint and brushes, and then you just do it. And afterwards she says, oh, wow. thank you, my love. And then I feel appreciation, and then my day's made. And voila. And that's actually everything in life. Just it just comes together. And when we put diamonds together, then we'll, yeah, it's seriously beautiful. Okay, side view of our diamond. It's always to serve a greater good. Well, that was previously, I believe, because we were in systems, we were trapped. And then I read a book called New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And he says, and you can go forward now, he says it's not about serving anything. It's about reaching a point of becoming. It's not about making the cup of coffee. It's about walking from here to making the coffee and enjoying the whole walk. Enjoying every moment in time, every moment in space as you're getting there. In self-peace, self-love, self-gratitude. And once you can do it for self, you can actually share that to your family, to your friends, to your community at large. And if the whole community is in service to each other at a point of becoming, at a point of peace, then we actually raise the vibration of everything. And when the vibration is really, really cool, then we've got a 3D vibration of time where we are now. And we can actually bridge over into a 5D of spirit and actually realize that we are actually spiritual beings having a human experience. But that human experience is heaven on earth, and that is our new earth. A little bit of Eckhart Tolle, a little bit of Joe Dispenza, a little bit of Wayne Dyer, all chucked together. And there it is as a schemata for us to follow.
I love it, man. It's so good. And it's so true. It's just deeply resonant. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's just the picture I always put at the end of one of my textbooks, because most people can say what, and then now it gets but wait, there's more. Go. And okay, so my comment on the previous system is it's ego driven. Okay, they're always talking about Rainer Fulmich and his guys who are doing the legal proceedings at the moment. They're talking about Mr. Global. Well, Mr. Global's us as well, because we put them there. Okay, and it's basically an ego-driven society. You'll actually notice in the middle of this picture, the steps are the same. Everything's run by define task, plan, develop, implement, assess, reflect, lessons, and character. But the service is different. Are you in service to a point of becoming and a higher self, or you're in service to your ego? Now, I believe we all have, and you'll see with the ego comes the social and the economics, because that's the old system, that's the old process, that's the old concrete rule book that hasn't changed for our new world, for our new earth, our new. We're at a point right now in history of what we do now in the next 2 to 5 years can revolutionize everything from global warming and the environment issues through to how we actually live. Everything, agriculture, chemical use. Sorry, I've got a major issue with chemical use, because the other day I was trying to figure out what do we actually. David Martin says move the fulcrum. Now, for everything in life, there must be a ruler on this desk somewhere.
Well, Christo, while you find that piece, what I really love about this model, just to intervene quickly, is that this diamond shape it's a natural, sacred, geometric form that literally connects all the dots. And what we're seeing in the old model is a complete inversion. So it's like a flip, it's like a mirror that has flipped itself to take a 180-degree turn, which we know is in all systems on our planet needs to happen in order to come back into its like harmonic resonance. And so what you're mapping out here is connecting the dots between all the pieces that make up the systems of our planet. Like you said, the social, economic, and so on. So this is like really presenting a beautiful solution for our current times, and a great comprehension for us to be able to recognize like what is becoming, what we are becoming, what kind of form and shape and pattern that we're creating here. And this is where I love semantics, and how in semantics it's the idea that you got a glass piece of paper, and on top you have like fine grains of sand or salt, and underneath is a speaker that is playing a tune, a certain frequency, and it creates a beautiful pattern on the plate. And then when you turn up the frequency of the sound, the pattern goes crazy into chaos, and then it creates another pattern essentially.
I've seen that.
And the key that people miss is there's pattern A and then there's pattern B. But people often forget that in between pattern A and B, there's this moment of chaos. It is crazy mayhem. There's no pattern. And essentially the way that I relate to where we're at right now is that we're in that chaos and we're moving into pattern B, which is you're laying out the cornerstone, the foundation, the model, the design for that pattern to come about on a larger social economic model of human life on Earth. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Shay. I appreciate it. I'll take it as a serious compliment. Always, for me, it was just, this is how it is. Okay, you talk about connecting the dots. Those connections actually they're tangible. It's called communication. And it can be any form of communication, from talk to type to just us. Now, and I know we're not here yet, but I think in 5D we'll be able to, with what's it called? Telemetry. That one. Telepathy. Where I sit here and you sit there, but we can have a full conversation because we're already in diamond, in process, in thought together. And when we're thinking together, then let's put it this way, people always talk about the hybrid mind or the connected mind, the hive mind. And I always think, the hive mind is like a team working together towards a single goal. Everybody's running their own plays, so to say, but there is one goal, and they're thinking as one. They move as one. It's not like, and we can do this in everything, not just on a team sport. We can do it in living, in life, in community, in being human. We were never designed to be separate. We're social. Okay, and then the previous point I was trying to make is you've got to move the fulcrum. Now there's, everybody always talks about leverage and pivot points, and if you give me a lever long enough, I can shift the earth. But the fulcrum is the pivot point of the lever. And I believe currently our biggest fault is we've given so much power to the chemical industrial complex that they're in everything. They're in our paint, our food, our air, our concrete. Think about it. Where you're sitting now, where is there not a chemical? It is in everything and it's everywhere. It is, and it's like 200,000 new chemicals are added to the scenario, and we're expected to live in that, and that's rough. I think the human body as a natural organism should go back to nature where it belongs, because if you look at the definition of nature, and this is kind of scary, it actually says nature is natural stuff like trees and plants and topography and mountains and features, as opposed to humans and human creation. So therefore, we've written ourselves out of our environment, out of our natural state of getting healthy, of getting well, of getting better. And then we've put our whole society on a fulcrum that pivots on chemicals. And it's just a very scary thought. So I mentioned this to my wife. She says, well, we can go organic. I said, but what's that organic food breathing? And she said, we're kind of stuffed. But when you start, you've got to remove the economic power of the chemical industrial complex, according to me. And the only way you do that is you have to stop using chemicals.
Yeah.
or just limit it. Someone told me a
absolutely.
study once that if all women stop using hair products for a month, it will kill the industry.
Wow.
Because that's all it's based on is use. It's
Yeah.
supply and demand.
Consumption.
Okay, but
Yeah.
now we're digressing. Okay.
That's good, man.
Imagination through the diamond gives you manifestation. It's just how to burst open all your chakras, all your stuff, and it's all aligned. It's about aligning who you are back to higher self, and imagination. Yeah, I don't know where this goes. We've never been to 5D as a 7.8 billion people population, but imagine the beauty of it. It'll look like the next slide where you and I came together, and that's what happened here. Is we got heart coherence. We got heart coherence on just two of us, on a picture on an Instagram of, hey dude, I think we've got syntropy. I think I can show you syntropy. And you came back saying, nice picture. What are you trying to say to me? And then I gave you the next one, and that's when the team comes together and community actually grows. You just we're building constellations of diamonds, and it's our own personal responsibility to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Finish it
That's
up.
good, man. I like that. Run
it on autopilot. There's community, and then the last one is countries, and it's applicable like forests and trees. Yeah. You can take a diamond down to the leaf. You can take it to the branch. You can take it to the tree. You can take it to the forest, and yeah, voila. Welcome to the cornerstone.
So good, man. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And yeah, speak to me. Tell me something.
Man, it's a really solid map. Just looking at those diamonds towards the end, particularly when we apply it to the overlay of countries. You know, you talked about personal sovereignty in the diamond of the self. Then and diamonds come into coherence. And then we look at, larger level countries and the diamonds coming together. And ultimately, they're the patterns of nature that is patterning our lives. And it's like a fractal where there's a pattern within a pattern within a pattern. It's a diamond within a diamond within a diamond. And it's a beautiful acknowledgement of the energy of our, individual personal system, but the collective energy of the society, and then the global collective consciousness of the population of the world. And so the key piece that I really like when we're looking at the collective conscious of the planet right now is what you honed in on around the self-responsibility. And what I feel that, as we talked about the etymology, is the ability to respond. So self-responsibility is the ability for the self to be able to respond to its environment and be a leader of themselves, and recognize that we're co-creating this experience. And when we come into coherence, as we acknowledge that we met through, Instagram, and now here we are doing this live and sharing this beautiful metric of diamond coherence and diamond cornerstone, to empower others, to get this message out there further to more people, to be able to recognize the power that they plug into this system and the harmonic and the resonance of this beautiful model of what makes up all life on earth. Essentially, like you said, it's applicable to all areas, all industries, all sources of life, essentially, that we know. Even down to the molecular structure or animals or plants or trees. And
I've looked at that. Pause. I've looked at that. It works in cell level. If you take a cell, let's take a plant cell, it needs water. So it basically builds a solution inside itself to give a signal to the one below it, so that it can start sending the signal all the way down to the root to suck the water up to that cell. And it's done exactly that. It had a plan. Its task is, I'm thirsty. So now its plan is, okay, make solution inside. And then it develops the solution, and then it implements, hey, I need water. And then it sends the signal down, and then it comes back up with water, and then the phloems and the xylems and all of those actually start acting together, and then it brings carbohydrates down from the top down. And it's everywhere. It's literally, and if you want me to take this into galaxies, you talk about fractals. Oh, it's like full moon, dude. Last night was full moon. It's like I'm sitting thinking, okay, how does this work with a diamond? And I'm thinking, okay, it's pushing tides now, and it needs to because we need a certain amount of plankton to move from A to B to Z. It's just, you can take it everywhere, dude. Off chart. The only place it doesn't work is in bureaucracy. Because the law will stop it from adapting. Remember, law doesn't change. Law is cast in stone for some other reason. Law cannot be cast in stone because society changes. If you want to see something die quickly, put it into a fixed state. I think it's Dao De Jing. It says that which is alive is supple, is movement. And that which is dead is hard and is rock and is stationary. So as society, if I think maybe this whole COVID thing is just because we were in such a state of no flux for so long that we just needed a wake-up call.
Yeah, and it's like getting stagnant water in a riverway. Finds a little pocket and it gets sticky and gross, and you don't want to drink it.
You can't.
Minute. Yeah. So it's so true, man. It's got to be fluid. It's got to be moving and evolving and changing and shifting and transforming. And it's like that bottleneck where it's all vortexing into the middle and it's spiraling and it's ready to just shoot out. And this cornerstone offering, literally a corner of that little 0 point to come out and explode into a vortex and then a whole nother direction.
Let's take it there. Thank you, Shay.
I love it, Christo. I just want to thank you again, man, for sharing this with us and all the viewers. This is really exciting. If you guys really like this, again, go and check out some of Christo's work. His Diamond Theory 101 is available on Amazon. He's got his website there. Diamond Cornerstone, his email. Go and check out some more of his work. Connect with him. Send him a message. Say a big thank you. And thank you right now for tuning in and staying with us for this whole presentation. This is really powerful fundamentals that it's a special announcement and important to grasp this concept because it is literally what is making up all of life and Christo even extrapolated that out into the universe, which is phenomenal. So once we really start to comprehend this, we can apply it to our lives and use it to improve our lives. Use it to apply to our personal lives, our relationships. We can see other people through this lens of compassion and love, as we spoke about, as we evolve. And so it's really, really beautiful and great to implement this into daily life. So if you guys have any comments, leave us a comment. Please feel free to share this video with your friends, give us a like, and we look forward to maybe presentations down the line and examples to hear from Christo that we could apply this into different fields and different industries moving forward.
Sweet. Okay,
awesome.
my final word, diamonds cut diamonds. And remember, you are the diamond. You are special. You are unique. You are perfect.
I love that, Christo. Good man. Thanks for your time again, mate, and all the best for the rest of your day. We'll chat to you soon.
Thanks, sir.